Hello my friends and welcome back. Thank you very much for being with me again today. 6 topics for this video. First one, the United States and several countries warn Russia, which is we can punch you, but you please don't punch us back. We warn you. So they warn Russia, which is we can maybe strike inside, deep inside, on your territory with our weapons using the Ukrainians, who you can use to bam, 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 but hey, don't hit us. You can't. Why? Well, you know, because we're good and you are evil. All right, this is the first topic. The second topic, good job in this case. Maria Zakharova says, Russia will not participate in garbage so-called peace summit organized by those weasels who are responsible for. Okay, all right, we're going to discuss that one. So they say, you know what, we're not going to participate in your little show. Next topic, Zelensky. Zelensky says that talks with Putin are possible. Well, I don't think it's up to you, baby doll. I think the Russians would decide that, not you. The Russians were open. We can discuss. Show up. You're not in charge whatsoever. But you think you are. Why? Because these baboons in the West, they roll the red carpet for you, giving you importance and authority, which you don't have. So when you say talks with Putin is possible and Biden can still help us. Who's us exactly? Ukraine. Next topic. Very nicely put by Zelensky again. And he says that the war with Russia depends on allies' resolve. It's true, 100%. Depending how the allies, what they determine, what they finally say, you know what, you can use the weapons to shoot deep inside Russia, that will determine if the war ends now. Why? Because of the Russian reaction that they're not supposed to have, because the Americans and the allies say, hey, you can't do that. Very tricky, big lie kind of psychology. We've seen this a lot of times in the Bible. Now, Sputnik. Musk, Elon Musk, you know who that is? Oh, I know, Elon Musk. Elon Musk backs down, complies with Brazilian judge's order for X platform. I think Musk, sooner or later, will get the message that Durov got, and Durov complied. We'll see how Musk, unfortunately, I'm guaranteeing you that's a lot of pressure on that guy, unless he's part of the system and we don't know it yet. Therefore, it's just another game, give and take. Like, for instance, look at Trump. Did you see Trump's so-called debate with Kamala Harris? Do you think that was Trump? Have you seen the Trump in 2015? Did you see him in 2016? Did you see him in 2020? It's not the same. Not the same. His rhetoric is not the same. Not even during his rallies. Not even there. I watched a few. It's not the same. Here's what people wanted, and he gave them then. Now I think he gives this. Why is that? Well, a lot of pressure on him, obviously. And the last part of the video will deal with the European Union stealing Russia's money and using Russia's money to give it to someone who they want. Now that is robbery right there in plain view. So let's start with the first article, first topic. This comes from Ukrainska Pravda. It is from Sunday, September 22nd, 2024. US and several countries warn Russia against intimidation with nuclear weapons. What did you expect? So you can do everything you want, escalate, and you want those guys to just take it deep and nice, however you want, whenever you want? No, I don't think so. So these guys now pushed the needle too much, and now they're thinking, what is going on now? The needle is gonna break the whole gauge? I think so. So if you look at this war in Ukraine, the escalation of the West versus the escalation of Musk. We say, well, they already did it from the very beginning. Well, there's also a lot of things to talk about: who initiated and who moved towards whom, and who threatens whom, and who lied to whom. All right. If you think that what I'm talking about is, idiotic, then a lot of work someone needs to do, and we'll see. So what's going on here? These guys are escalated with all the weapons, all the military, all the aid so-called given to Ukrainians. And the Russians did what? They said, we're going to escalate. We're going to escalate. We're going to escalate. Is it an escalation? We're going to meet. We're going to escalate. We're going to meet. And now these guys, we're going to shoot inside Russia. We're going to use supposedly the Ukrainians, which I don't think they will be involved in this one, just being the ones around over there and, cleaning the boots of the NATO troops involved in this. And they will do what? They will launch inside Russia strike targets. And the Russian says, if you do this, it's a red line. We're going to, again, escalate. Oh, don't use nuclear weapons. Says who? You use them. You use atomic bombs. Not good. We're not going to use it, Putin said, right? You never know. But always, as a deterrent, have to keep that in mind. The member states of the quadrilateral security dialogue, the United States, Australia, India, and Japan, have expressed a strong disapproval of Russia's possible use of mere threat of use of nuclear weapons. A statement by the leaders of the 4 states released on the White House website, as reported by European Pravda. The states reaffirmed their support for compliance with international law. Yeah, look in the Middle East, America. See how that is implemented. Fuck off. And the principles of the UN Charter. Again, look in the Middle East. So much hypocrisy, man. That's a little country over there we can't mention, who's really, really in compliance with international law. Yes. And you just think, we're going to be a peace process over there. But hey, we keep everybody with their hands tied while this guy is punching everybody else. The same as this. Hey, Russia, you can't punch back. Only we can punch you. Remember what they did with Gaddafi? No flight zone, NATO said, the defense alliance. Don't respond. Don't use your military. Don't fly around. Don't use your jets. No, or your bombers. Why? They did like this to Gaddafi. And what did Gaddafi do? Nothing. Russia was too weak at that time. If that would happen again right now, Gaddafi, I guarantee you, would be still alive. Not that I cry for Gaddafi or Saddam, but it's not for you to determine who lives and dies. By what? In compliance with international law and principles of the UN Charter of Self-Determination. Sounds familiar? Fuck off. Anyway, so this is, and in territorial integrity, right here, I missed that one, including the territorial integrity and sovereignty of all nations and the peaceful resolution of disputes. Like Kosovo? I don't remember you asked the Serbs about that one. You just took it. Oh, they voted. So did the guys in Crimea, didn't they? Oh no, that was rigged. No, they didn't vote. It was only the parliament in Kosovo who voted for independence, remember? So Crimea River. And about hitting Yugoslavia in 1999, was that territorial integrity, sovereignty, and international law? Broken. So you know what? It's very hypocritical when you have this kind of statements like they're the angels, and actually they're the bigger butchers. Remember that defender, the English defender in football, Butcher? Yeah, that's kind of like, he lived up to the name, Butcher. He was butchering the legs, the other football players. So, all right, don't escalate. Do not escalate. Just take it easy or however we want. Like Milei with Argentina. Oh, let's see what Russia does. And Russia says, dismisses second summit as the Western plot. The Maria Zakharova. Russia has announced that it will not participate in a second peace summit which Ukraine plans to hold this fall. Russian Foreign Ministry spokesperson, no, she's a woman, Maria Zakharova made a statement on Saturday, September 21st. Zakharova claimed that representatives of the aggressor state have not participated and do not intend to participate in such meeting. She also asserted that the peace summit is just another act of fraud by the Anglo-Saxons and Ukraine puppets. I think that's pretty accurate. Remember, whomever comes at you and tells you, well, you improved, man. You improved with your painting. You got painting skills. That tells you that person understands it. And he is kind of like in charge of you. He tells you. Or you know what? why don't you stop by and we can see how great you dance, all right? We're going to see. That means this person is already in charge. He's going to assess how you dance. Motherfucker, I don't remember appointing you as being, or electing you as being my dance choreographer or anything like this. The same here. Oh, our peace summit with the guys who actually helped us do what we did. The guys in 2014 in the Maidan, remember? The same guys, they organized this little thing. How do you think it's going to be? Russia, come over there and say, oh, okay, with a hat in their hand, I'm sorry. Or United States, what do you say? Great Britain, what do you say? Is that how these guys expect Russia to behave? It seems like. Or they do it just for the baboons. They say, well, the Russians don't want to show up because the baboons don't understand this is the rigged game over there. It's going to be the so-called judges, like the Nuremberg trials. The victors did what the fuck ever they want with the war criminals, the Nazis. They did. But in the meantime, all right, in procedures. Nevertheless, the victor is always right. And he writes the history as well. So history is written by the victors. So the same here, the victorious ones. Same here. Why would Russia come in front of a, let's say, a number of countries that actually want to hang Russia to be like, okay, let's discuss, you are the mediators. Fuck you, I'm going to take what I deserve and what I want. Like you did. Do you want me to get the history? All right, let's see. United States. Let's start with France, shall we? Right, Africa, and not only. Let's start with what? Germany, Great Britain, the Empire, Britannia. Shut the United States of America purchased the Louisiana purchased from the imbeciles because they were losing in Europe. Anyway, they needed money. And then you got what? Half of Mexico. Leave aside many other things. So the big are a little bit smaller. And not only that, look at for instance, Sudetenland. They say, Sudetenland is Adolf. Yeah, but look at Texas. You see the same shit. And that you can go to the Ukrainians defending their connationals, their Russian-speaking population in another country. Texas. Look at the Mexican-American War, and you're going to find out. And that was what, in 1860-some, right? 65, 66, if I remember correctly. If I don't remember correctly, 64. It was before the, how do you call it? Civil War, which was 64. So before that. Go and check it out. So again, Russia should not go. If Russia shows up over there, that means they are in the same boat with the other guys. And I don't believe squat. It's not impossible. I know it's crazy, but I always have a little, not too many things in life, in relationships and situations are black and white. It's always some gray somewhere, or this white piece is in the black piece and the other way around is, all right? So always leave room for skepticism. Now, it doesn't have to be a nihilistic one, like, oh, no, it's going to be like this, when things are clear in this situation, that that's the way it is, right? But there's always nuances. If there are no nuances, that's great. But therefore, you should read the Bible. Let's move on. Let's go to the next article. DPA International. Zelensky. Biden can still help Ukraine. Talks with Putin possible. I don't care about the first part. I care about this one. So, are possible? Of course are possible. Just show up. Send your guys. If you're legitimate, but the Russians think that you're not legitimate. So send someone who's legitimate. The talks should be between Russia and the United States of America. If you want results, direct, face-to-face, and with the gloves off. But they tried that in 2021, in December, in October, in November, in January 2022. And the American says, what are you going to do? Are you going to invade? Go on, go. And they did. It was unprovoked because Russia moved toward NATO, not NATO moved towards Russia. Broken promise, gentleman agreement broken by the non-gentleman West again. Why again? Look at the Second World War, before and after. If you don't know what I'm talking about, stick around. So let's see what this guy is saying. Ukrainian president, again, he's Ukrainian as I am Zimbabwean, believes outgoing US President Joe Biden can still make important decisions before that is ruining our lives. Decisions before leaving office in January that would strengthen Ukraine. Remember, this is the mass democracy for you. They ask you one time in, let's say, 4 years, presidents, they ask one time, who do you vote for? This guy that is promoted here, and this guy is promoted here. Ignore everybody else who's around, just these two. They give you two options, GG, GG1 and GG2, or GG and GG. It's the same, GG and GG. So we got GG promoted and financed by the same guys. They're given over there. You say, I want GG, then I get this one. And this guy for 4 years can screw your country, nation, and your children's future for generations. This is the democracy. And what they're going to do? I still remember the university years in the United States of America. Work within the system. Vote him out or vote her out. That's how you sanctions. In 4 years, so I let that guy, that person, fuck my country and my nation and my children, my family, myself for 4 years that I cannot, bounce back for generations, and then I just vote him out. He just goes home as a military, hired as an, board of director of whatever, Raytheon of Lockheed Martin. After that, he's becoming a millionaire, multi-millionaire, by what? Writing a garbage book, for instance, Obama. Should I do this? And then wait, and I go back to work so I can bounce back with another weasel that was pushed forward. Now, not GG, but GG is going to be in charge, and he's going to fuck me up. They're going to promise everything. He gets in power and doesn't do squat. This is the mass democracy. Wrong. Not like that. Not like that. So again, can make important decisions. For whom? For all of us. One guy voted in office, doesn't even know what's his name, what kind of color his pants are. He wears diapers anyway. Okay, he comes with a victory plan, okay, and he says Zelensky told Ukrainian media on Saturday before leaving Kiev for meeting in the United States that he wants to present what is called a victory plan. First to Biden and then to the rest of the world. Biden can't even keep his eyes open. He said he is seeking talks with Russia as part of this plan, but gave no details. Well, the Ukrainian leader is Ukrainian. You see, you have to make sure his people know he's Ukrainian. Also repeated his calls for the United States to allow Ukraine to fire long-range weapons deep into Russia's hinterland, and in the ass, that is. We need long-range weapons. Didn't they tell you they're going to nuke you for that? All right. So this is what these guys say. They want to talk with the Russians. That's fantastic. That's fantastic. Russia was not invited to the first summit in Switzerland in June. Moscow has repeatedly criticized Zelensky for banning talks with Russia by decree, which he did, saying they must be lifted. You don't talk to Zelensky, you talk to Americans. So far, they have only been isolated contacts through mediators, such as in the case of prisoner exchange. And we have here, Zelensky says end of war with Russia depends on allies' resolve. Allies resolve. What does that mean? I can tell you right here. Where is that? This is what he means. Because he says that by receiving long-range weapons to hit Russia in the ass, they're going to have the Russians, Moscow, come to the negotiation table where the Ukrainians or Zelensky Steins will determine the boundaries in the summit. That they will be organized with the baboons. So you see how it is? But the Russian says, we're going to nuke you. Now we have the first one, right? First article, remember, where these guys say, no, you can't do that. This is what you need to do. You just show up, we're going to tell you what to do, and then you shut the fuck up. No, go back to your room and clean your room and wash your socks. And the Russian says, no, thanks you for now. So yes, depends on allies to resolve. Says the end of the war. Ukraine. Zelensky says end of war with Russia depends on allies. Yes, because if the allies hit Russia in the ass with long-range weapons, Russia will nuke them. And that will be the end of the war. All right? Because either these guys come to their senses and say, that's it, time out, slow down, that's going to be the end of the war right there. Or those guys will say, okay, we die for Zelensky and for the Ukrainians, everyone. Right? And we do it, and they do it, and then it's the end of the world. Either way, it's going to be the end of the world. War. You know what I mean? So, yeah, it's true. It's Zelensky. That's true. Let's see how Musk got the message. Musk backs down, complies with Brazilian judge's orders for X platform. So what is he doing? He just appoints a representative of X in Brazil. Self-reported data from X, previously known as Twitter, reveals that Musk has complied, got in line with more court orders and government takedown requests. Takedown is like censorship that the website's previous owners. So this is what they did. They also did something to some accounts, which is ban them. Elon Musk has backed down and complied with the Brazilian judge's orders that he appointed a legal representative for X, reported by Financial Times Saturday, citing court documents examined by the media outlet. X has also reportedly agreed to suspend several accounts cited by the court for generating disinformation. So if they decided that an account, spreads disinformation, what they say, and extremist content, what is that? A certain kind of sexual lifestyle? Is that extremist because it's out of the norm? No, according to media outlets. So you see, these things, disinformation and extremist content, someone determines that. Who's that someone? Now, if that someone loves his ass to be checked, he's not going to think that that's extreme. He's going to think that's normal. But for others, if you look around, that's not normal, especially between two, you know what I mean? And disinformation, who determines what disinformation is? Now, if we talk about disinformation, we can talk about, for instance, Wall Street Journal. A day ago, I covered that. Zelensky said they lied. They said in their report, Wall Street Journal, that 80,000 Ukrainians died in the war. And Zelensky said that is a lie. That means Wall Street Journal's report was false. They were involved in disinformation because they knew it was wrong, or they didn't. Or if you didn't, why do you publish it? So you see, that means Wall Street Journal should not be functioning anymore. It's right there in disinformation and extremist content. According to whom again? To the norms of the society? Well, we know that if you look at nature, there's a certain behavior of reproduction and sexual content, sexual contact. Well, everything outside of that, it's out of the norm. Now, the further you push it, the more extreme it is. Now, if you have a guy, an extreme person who is engaged in this kind of behavior, he's not going to see it as an extreme because he does it daily, possibly. Okay? So if that person is an elected official or someone that can write a policy, he will say, no, actually, the other thing, the hetero, is the extreme. And maybe you can ban those guys who promote hetero pop. You understand? All right. And once the government gets involved in determining who is involved in this and what is this and what is that, not the population, we got a problem. And again, we go to democracy. Who votes the government? You say the guys that are the elected officials. I already went over that. They tell you everything. When they get over there, they vote however they want for 4 years, 5 years, 6 years, depends on the mandate that you gave them once. So what Musk is going to do? He complies, and he's going to comply. Why? He doesn't have guns. He doesn't have a military. If he would have, a few nuclear weapons like Kim Jong-un, and he can use them without these guys being able to stop him before he gets crazy, then I guarantee you these guys will talk to him differently. And they will just ban it. Because these guys they love democracy only when they win. They love freedom of speech only if you say what they want you to say. Now, this is the free world. This is garbage. At least the other guys are honest about it. Yeah, we ban this. We don't want this. You can't say that. You're going to jail. But these guys pretend that they are actually way ahead of the curve. They're right, They're right there, man. They're progressive. They're progressing towards a cliff. They're progressive. And pushing what? When it's going to be too late, it's going to be too late. I don't want to get to that point where I'm going to say, now what? Or I told you so. Because I have to work harder. I have to sacrifice. Why? Because some baboons were in charge of us through democracy, because baboons voted, baboons installed by other interests. They will have no problem. They will be over there. You and I will be here toiling in the toilet. Anyway, let's move to the last article, last topic that tells you about the justice of the free world. This is how low we got. Well, if you use certain kind of non-European Western European, ancient Greek and ancient Roman values, we don't use them anymore. When you use a tooth for a tooth and an eye for an eye, what do you expect? We got this thing right here. We got robbery. Reuters, EU to loan Ukraine, not his money, up to $39 billion funded by Russian assets. So these guys, European Union, took the Russian assets, and they're going to give it to someone else. $40 billion, just like that. Got it? And they make it like, just to loan or to lend Ukraine. European Union just lends up to $39 billion funded, like Ukraine, like Russia wants to fund it. funded by Russian assets. Now, this is euphemistic talking. I will make a different title, like European Union steals stolen money from Russia and illegally gives it to Ukraine. That would be the correct representation of reality. But hey, they don't want to do that. Why? Because this is the free speech, free world. We are the free world. With that, that's one of the reasons why I have this in here, because I can't sit down and read to this bullshit that the baboons will ingest like fleas that they eat from one another. And then they vote, and their vote, the baboonish vote, will nullify or negate your vote, or my vote, or some smarter people than us. Thank you very much for being with me again today. Stay strong, stay smart, look for the truth, and be just.